question. This is a tough 3-game stretch. But we're going to have the following 3 will also, when you go at Notre Dame, it's a tough game as well. We should just stay on the bus and knock it off.
I ain't getting off the bus. The coach will throw me under it. Hey, welcome back to the Red and Blue Review. Getting ready to talk about where these teams are right now. We're a month into conference play, so let's kind of see where the Cats and the Cards are. One thing about that loss against Providence last week, there are several things you can blame. One, the captain, Preston Knowles, saddled with very poor point production and fouls. He fouled out of the game, but that wasn't the only cause of that loss.
What lost us the game was 18 turnovers. And 4 on illegal screens, and Gorky on 3 of them, just fundamentally did the wrong things. When you set a screen, you got to open up to the person coming off the ball, and he kept going into him and turning this way, and that's a fundamental mistake made by a.
I mean, you look at what happened with Louisville. They were down 3 points, hit a 3-pointer, and it was wiped away because of the moving screen. Had a couple moving screens earlier in the game, and Patino said that several of those were actual moving screens. Gorky just wasn't doing it correctly, and I don't think it was just that either. There was a lot of turnovers in this game, and it wasn't so much that this was a must-win. Well, I think it was a must-win game. It was also a can't-lose game. You can't lose to Providence. You're going to play so many really, really good teams that you can't lose to the bad teams, and that's what Louisville did. They just coughed it up over and over and over again.
Well, on this show last week, Rick Pitino hinted that Louisville could very easily lose at Providence, and of course he was right. And as you look through that schedule now, Howie, it becomes tough to see where Louisville might be able to make up for that setback.
In the beginning of the year, we were hoping just to get out with our lives, so we're very thankful for where we are, but you don't know where the wins are going to come from, and you can't pencil in that you think you could beat this team. I mean, I really thought that. I sat there at the St. John's game, and I just didn't quite believe it. I didn't quite believe the Marquette game, the way it ended, certainly. But so you never know where they're going to come. I think that more than anything else, in terms of number of wins, we've got to take care of home court advantage. And that's the one thing that we have to do, because you don't know where the wins are going to come from on the road.
You look at the rest of Louisville's schedule, and it's very easy to see 7 or 8 more losses. I mean, I don't think they'll have that many more, but it's very easy to say, well, they could lose there. I put them into likely wins and likely losses and toss-up games, and likely wins is only about 3 or 4 games the rest of the season. There are a whole bunch of them in that toss-up game. And, Providence was a likely win. So, they've got to handle all the likely wins and get some of those toss-ups to make absolutely sure that they're in the NCAA tournament. I think all their T-shirts should say, get 10. You get 10 wins, you're in the tournament.
On the Kentucky side, nothing stops a game plan better than a defensive plan that snuffs out the team's spark, let's say, which is why Coach Cal wants to make sure he goes into every game with more than one match.
Have more than one catalyst. We're going to have 2 or 3 catalysts on this team if we're going to be what we think. And that means 2 or 3 guys come every game that can make plays. And that happened on us last year. We ended up having a great will to win. But it was because those catalysts made plays at crunch time, and they were ready to make plays all the time. And it wasn't.
The reason looking at this clip and then the one to follow, since UK's in the middle of, quote-unquote, a bye week, they don't have a midweek game. And all they have is Georgia coming up. Went back to the SEC or to the media days press conference with Coach Cal there and pulled that bite. He talked about this team's going to have 2 to 3 catalysts. And what have we seen so far? One day it's Terrence Jones, and it's Brandon Knight, it's been Deron Lamb, it's been Darius Miller. They've got to get 2 or 3 every single game who come up with double-figure scoring and spark this team if they're ever going to get to where they hope to be.
Undefeated teams can sometimes be hard to coach, but nothing gets a player's undivided attention more than an unexpected loss.
This is one of those teams that I look at that needs to get beat up a little bit early, so they can figure out that everybody's game is a Super Bowl. Every team they play, they're going to play beyond what you see on the tape. That's the biggest game of the year. That if you don't do this together and communicate and help each other, you'll struggle all year. And sometimes the only thing that brings about change, the only thing that'll bring about change is when you have like catastrophe. Then all of a sudden, it's like
catastrophe. How about Athens, Georgia? It's fascinating to go back to that press conference in mid-October. to hear him say, if you play selfishly and you're not all as one as a team, you're going to struggle. We've seen that. We've seen them not learn the hard. They have to learn the hard way at Georgia and at Alabama that you better bring your best game because they're going to be gunning for you. It's just, you know, the coach knows the young guys didn't listen, are learning the hard way, and now hopefully going forward, lesson learned, let's go take care of business.
Coming into this season, Cal probably could not have told you the battles that his team was going to lose, but he knew one that he was going to win, and that is the battle of wills between him and his players.
Young teams, and I've done this a few different times in my career. Your will has to be stronger than theirs, and you're not giving in.
Not giving in. Are you hearing this, Terrence Jones? I am not giving in. You're going to do it my way, and the team is going to do it his way. And it's okay. They're not as good as last year, but maybe they keep building to where they're one of these classic teams that seems to peak in mid to late February just in time. We're going to have to kind of watch that unfold in the weeks to come.
But John Calipari is a coach easy to please. All you got to do is everything he asks.
But I'm asking guys to come every game ready to go and ready to battle. But I think if you demand a lot, you get a lot. If you accept mediocrity, you're going to get it every single time. If you accept what they want to give you, that's what they're giving you. And so my career has been about, I'm not accepting anything but your best. I don't care how old you are, if you're 18 or 24.
That's my favorite soundbite of the year, and it'll be hard to top the rest of the year. If you accept mediocrity, that's what you're going to get, and I don't accept it. I've got to have more, and that's just the way it's going to be. That's the only way you're going to survive in conference and in March Madness especially.
3 weeks into the college basketball season, and Dr. Cal says he spent much of that time trying to perform a heart transplant on his young team.
One heartbeat. We're not one heartbeat right now. We're about a heartbeat and a half and a half. We're not bang, 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 bang. We're not there yet. At times against Louisville, we were. At times against Notre Dame, we were. At other times, both of those games, we were.
At this point of the season, the only bang, bang, bang is Calipari's head against the wall, trying to get this team to play consistently, to play the full 40 minutes. It will come. It's just going to take a while.
3 words you've never heard uttered in the same sentence: humble basketball player. But you will hear it next when we come back on the Red and Blue Review. But as we head to the break, Daryl, tell us how to get a copy of the Cat's Paws.
Easiest way by far, the website, shopcatspaws.com. It's right there. You just click and go. Or you can give us a call, 800-641-3302.